It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Esiedudate. Here are the headlines for this evening.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Coming up this evening, West Africa Army chiefs to meet on Saturday to discuss the military coup in Niger.
International Monetary Fund cautions Bank of Ghana to uphold policy mandates despite financial setbacks, but minority in Parliament rejects explanations of 60 billion cedi loss, describing reasons by the bank as flimsy, diversionary and distortion of facts.
And later in the bulletin, food crisis looms following severe flooding affecting almost two-thirds of the northeast region.
Renowned economist Kwabena calls on government to acknowledge the extent of crisis Ghana presently finds itself in.
Later on the international front, Ukrainian conscription officials accused of taking bribes and smuggling people out of the country sacked in an anti-corruption purge.
We have details of these stories and many more coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
And we are digging in right to the first story where the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has cautioned the Bank of Ghana to uphold policy mandates despite financial setbacks, stating that the 60 billion loss was necessary for macroeconomic stability and public sustainability. It emphasized the central bank's crucial role in reversing inflation. There's more in the following report.
The IMF claims that the Bank of Ghana's participation in the domestic debt exchange program was to share some of the burden the DDE places on government debt holders, banks, financial institutions, pension funds and individuals. It anticipates that central bank income will be adequate to cover the costs associated with monetary policy. According to the central bank, it incurred a loss largely due to the government's domestic debt exchange program DDEP after its non-marketable holdings of government instruments including long-term stocks, a COVID-19 bond and overdraft were subjected to a 50% haircut. The bank also incurred revaluation losses on its foreign assets and liabilities due to exchange rate depreciation, resulting in a total loss of 55.12 billion cedis equity in 2022. The central bank has said it had to take the hit to salvage the economy, but this explanation has not satisfied industry players who blame the Bank of Ghana for fiscal irresponsibility and unsound practices.
Right, so that's the position being shared by the IMF following what has become a very topical issue here in Ghana. Let's engage the thoughts of Professor Godfrey Bokpin, who is a professor of financial economics and a lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. Prof, good evening. Thank you for your time. Professor Bokpin, can you hear me, sir? We seem to be having a slight challenge in connecting to Professor Godfrey Bokpin, whose thoughts we want to pick regarding what the IMF has said, more or less reiterating what the Bank of Ghana has said, outlining reasons why they made those losses in excess of 60 billion Ghana cedis. The minority is asking that the governor and his deputies should resign. I'm told that we do have Professor Godfrey Bokpin now. Prof, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Right. If you can hear me, my first question would be, the IMF seem to have repeated the exact same reasons that the Bank of Ghana gave regarding how come it made those losses. From where you said, they also gave indications that they are confident that the Bank of Ghana is able to stay within its limits and ensure inflation gradually returns to, that 8% target. What are your thoughts on the IMF's position? Are they just supporting the Bank of Ghana, you think?
Well, what IMF has said is not surprising.
because we knew way back that the IMF had given aid blessing to what was going on, because the IMF knew that without the central bank sacrificing aid balance sheet, the IMF debt sustainability pathway will not be reached. And therefore, while the IMF excluded aid debt from the debt restructuring, it was okay for the balance sheet of the central bank to be rendered worthless like this. So we take exceptions to what has happened. We believe that the reserves that have been wiped away, it has taken Bank of Ghana years to build those reserves. And therefore, that exposes the central bank. It's immaterial how much of a defense the IMF puts out there in support of what has happened. We know that the IMF considered itself as a lender of last resort. Our central bank is also a lender of last resort. And therefore, if the IMF was uncomfortable to accept losses on the books, then there should have been some consideration in preserving the balance sheet of the central bank. We are of the view that Bank of Ghana's exposure to the central bank was problematic, and the IMF knew that. And that is why the IMF is asking for zero financing of the budget deficit, right? And therefore, I think it's an unfortunate situation, and we need to build forward better. We need to understand the nuances of our economies, and we need to do things better and going forward. And I think nobody can justify what has happened. It's unacceptable. It undermines confidence in our system. It undermines confidence in our banking system. It undermines the moral authority of the central bank to really do supervision regulation. But more than that, remember that as a national institution, you don't render the central bank's balance sheet to this level. It will take the central bank more than 3 decades if they were to wipe out these losses through their normal operations, even if you use 2021 as baseline for the analysis.
Right, and Prof, also in the IMF's statement where they sought to answer questions that led to Ghana having to come to them for a bailout, they also gave indications that they know that the Bank of Ghana, for instance, is capable of getting back on track. You are saying that it's likely to take not less than 30 years or 3 decades before the country's economy gets back on track. Are we having any special dispensation when it has to do with how we deal with the IMF?
It takes so long to build back your reserves. And don't forget that the recovery we are talking about is not merely inflation coming down. It's not merely having GDP growth. That is insufficient. We are asking for more than that. Remember that, of course, we've seen central banks, they can have losses in their normal course of operation. But the losses we are talking about on the books of Bank of Ghana is so huge. It's so huge. It will take them years to claw back. We will all be in this country. It will take years. It will take years.
Prof, we're grateful for your time and thoughts as always. Professor Godfrey Bopping, economist at the University of Ghana Business School lecturer as well. And his thoughts on the IMF's response to issues regarding what the Bank of Ghana has said in terms of cities. Portia will give us our next story now.
Yes, and the minority in Parliament has rejected explanations by the Bank of Ghana on the 60 billion cedi loss incurred in 2022, describing them as mere diversions and a calculated distortion of facts and flimsy excuses. The minority in the last week has demanded the resignation of the governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, and his deputies, accusing them of financial mismanagement.
In a statement, the minority questioned the governor of the Bank of Ghana for its operational expenditures and criticized the spending on vehicle maintenance and foreign travels. The minority said the explanation issued by the central bank did not address the serious matters raised at its Tuesday's news conference. According to the minority, the issue on printing of higher 100 cedis and 200 cedis denominations by the central bank beyond the legal threshold, for instance, was not addressed. The statement said it is therefore totally irresponsible for the managers of the Bank of Ghana to conveniently ignore these serious legal infractions which have brought untold hardships on Ghanaians and rather engage in flimsy justifications and needless equalizations. The central bank has denied being reckless and attributed the financial setback to government domestic debt exchange, cocoa board loans and the CD devaluation.
Let's now focus on the situation in Niger as West African Army chiefs will meet on Saturday in Accra to discuss the military coup in the country. Some reports suggest they will prepare plans for a military intervention. It comes after the regional bloc, ECOWAS, ordered the activation of a standby force during a meeting in Nigeria on Thursday. The European Union has said Niger's ousted president is being held in deteriorating conditions under house arrest and has called for his immediate release. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said President Bazoum and his family have been deprived of food, electricity and medical care for several days. Chairperson of the AU, Musa Mahamat, has expressed the union's support for ECOWAS and also condemned the continued detention of President Bazoum and his family. The AU has also called for his immediate release and called on the entire international community to unite efforts to save the moral and physical integrity of President Bazoum. Let's speak to Dr. Victor Doke. He is a security consultant. Doc, thank you so much for your time. At this point, the coup leaders are still not meeting ECOWAS leaders to resolve this crisis. What else can be done to avert this military intervention, which is imminent?
Well, thank you, Portia. What can be done is, you see, prior to the meeting for ECOWAS, the junta appointed these 21 ministers. What can be done is to engage these 21 ministers, okay, to know exactly what the junta is up to. For the president, Bazoum, he's out of the question because he's one of the main reasons why the junta had to come in and then organize a coup. So I think they can now work with these 21 ministers for a start so we can avoid the military intervention, because the consequences of this military intervention is quite dire, so numerous than as we think. It's not going to be a child's play. So I think they should work with these 21 ministers first off, get the opinions of these ministers as along the line, and then hopefully meet the junta themselves. And then we are sure to get somewhere. Other than that, then if ECOWAS decides to, well, they've initiated the standby force and then given the mandate to deploy. But we hope that it won't come to that result yet. But let's give diplomacy the chance still to prevail, and then we'll get somewhere.
Interestingly, they were able to meet the former central bank governor, Sanusi Lamido. He was successful in meeting with them. At the end of that meeting, he says, this is a time for public diplomacy. It's not a matter that we leave to government. And he's saying we need a solution that will work for Africa. What is Africa's solution?
Well, Africa's solution is numerous, multifaceted. First of all, what has gotten us this far, right? Bad governance, corruption, tackling the issue of youth unemployment. And let's not forget, now we see the youth in support of the military because we have a youth bulge. The youth make up 70% of the population. And that tells us how dire the situation is. But of course, these youth obviously would want the ex-president out. That's the main thing that has been done now, but it doesn't mean the military or the junta is better off than the ex-president. That's not it. Then Africa, per protocols that has been established, good governance, peace and security, are we actually abiding by these protocols? That's a question. We are not. Most of our leaders do what they want to do, right? For example, just recently in Senegal, Macky Sall wanted to extend his term. If not for the violent protests and people talking to him, he wouldn't have backed down. And we've seen this over and over again. And it has resulted in this kind of situations before. And we are here. we need to look at what exactly is the problem, tackle it before we put ourselves in very dangerous situations. Going forward, good governance, good practices, rule of law, we need to ensure and enshrine it in our system. Our leaders need to wake up and abide by the rules for these not to happen again.
Doc, we've seen some countries already coming out pledging to send in troops, like La Côte d'Ivoire saying they will send about 1,000 troops to Niger. Should Ghana also send in troops? What are the pros and cons of this?
Well, the issue about sending troops now would depend on the CDS advising the head of state, our president. He only has a mandate. It may not necessarily be Ghana sending in personnel as in going to combat, but probably maybe logistics or funding. All these options are on the table. But the pros and cons, I mean, it's so numerous. We cannot shy away from the fact that if we even do not send in active troops, the support we give will make us party. And all member states of ECOWAS have pledged per the protocol to ensure peace and security. So you cannot exclude yourself. When you do that, let's not forget the communique that came out, right, has stated that all AU ECOWAS members should rally behind this particular cause. So who are you to exclude yourself? We only have 4 people out now, 4 states out now. That's Mali, Burkina, Guinea, and then Niger itself. So the rest will now be abided per the protocol to go in. So it's not a matter of you deciding to opt out. Côte d'Ivoire has set the pace. They've said they want to contribute X number of personnel. We are yet to see how many states that would want to contribute X, Y, or what number, or which particular item they want to sort of contribute when it comes to the ECOWAS standby force. And for the meeting, we don't expect every detail of the meeting to come out, unless probably through a leaked memo or something. But some of us will be monitoring the situation. The meeting is just to meet and decide on logistics, personnel, funding, and all that. So that's what they were going to decide, the pros and cons, and then decide whether or not to contribute XY troops to the cause.
Doc, thank you so much for your time. And Dr. Victor Doke is a security consultant. We've been discussing the situation in Niger. Martin.
All right, let's turn our attention to some very unfortunate developments here in Ghana, specifically in the northern part, where food crisis, we are told, is looming in the northeast region following severe flooding, which has affected almost 2/3 of the region. In a bid to avoid any further catastrophe, reconstruction of the Waliwale-Gambaga-Nalerigu road, which was affected, has begun in earnest.
4 districts have been affected by the flooding: West Mamprusi, East Mamprusi, Junyo Naswang, and Bungpurugu. According to an assessment report by the Northeast Regional Coordinating Council and the National Disaster Management Organization, several communities have been cut off and rendered inaccessible. Some roads and bridges in the affected district have also been destroyed as a result of the rains. The floods have also affected large acres of farmland, a situation the Northeast Regional Minister has warned poses a major food security risk.
Some farms have just been completely washed away. The crops are gone. Some too are now buried in the water carried along debris. Some of the farms are buried in the debris.
The situation, according to the regional minister, requires an urgent need for food and non-food items to support the affected population.
We are appealing to benevolent institutions and philanthropists who are within and outside this country to come to our aid, because this is the time that our people need help.
Boreholes and hand-dug wells have been polluted by floodwaters, as have most sanitation facilities. Households and some public toilets have collapsed or have been inundated due to the flooding situation. Meanwhile, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana has expressed concern about the level of destruction to farmland. Dr. Charles Sinyaba is the Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana.
I started getting reports the day before yesterday of our members around the area of their inability to visit their farms. So that is why I'm worried about anything that is going to happen in northern part of the country always happen in excess. When we are experiencing a high temperature, it comes in excess. When we are experiencing drought, it comes for a very long time. And then when we are experiencing flooding, it spoils a lot of things. In fact, majority of the farmers I spoke to claim that they will have nothing to harvest on their farms because almost everything has been washed away.
Meanwhile, several works and reconstruction of the Waliwale Gambaga Nalerigu Road, which was affected by the flooding, are ongoing. The Northeast Regional Engineer Andrews Okra spoke about efforts to reconstruct the road.
It's not been cut completely, but we are engaging a contractor to also look at. I'm signing a contractor now yesterday because we could buy down there to go and look at the other ones. Those ones as well, I will give it to a contractor to.
The MP for Waliwale, Hajia Lariba Abudu, assured residents of the government's support in reducing the impact of the floods.
And then look, we are here. So it tells you that they are working day and night. It's a very big, and the people are happy. You could see them around. They are very happy.
And away from the Northeast region, Member of Parliament for Dom Kwabena, Sarah Adjoa-Safo, says she will contest the NPP parliamentary seat again. She's convinced her constituents still love her and want her again, and she will not disappoint them, adding her chances of winning the party primaries are very bright.
Sarah Adjoa-Safo for more than a year lost touch with her constituents, compelling the people in the constituency to complain about her long absence. Even the constituency party executives were upset. But the MP says she is back for good, adding that she has already met with some executives and constituents and explained to them reasons for her absence.
This is Greater Accra, and there comes a time where we celebrate Homo Festival. So it's a religious thing that we always do, that we pay courtesy calls on all the chiefs in the communities and then wish them a happy Homo, happy year, and ask for their blessings also. And the feeling I'm having now with the people that are coming out just to scream your name, just to have a handshake, I think I still have a lot to do for my people, and I have to take the pain to explain to them the reasons for my absence, and especially the mothers and the old ladies and the queen mothers are also mothers, and so they understand what I have been through, and they say bend the bridges.
We're very happy to see her so that we can give her our needs for him to accomplish it for us.
I'm happy to see her because a very long time since we vote for her, I didn't see her. So today, if I'm seeing her, I'm good to see her. As for her, she have a chance. She'll win.
I appreciate their concerns because we all use the roads. And as I spoke to the chiefs, I've told them and promised them that we would facilitate for the construction of these roads.
The three-time MP, who on Friday visited the chiefs and people of some communities in her constituency, promised to settle issues with the constituency chairman and others who were against her.
My constituency chairman is a very fine gentleman, and I don't think that he's somebody who would ever doubt my candidature or my popularity in the constituency. Politics is a game of numbers. So I have met my constituency chairman, and I have told him what I am telling you now. And I know at the right time he would have to also come in if he has to, because if it's the will of God and the people want me, I will not desert them.
The former deputy majority leader says she will pick forms to contest the seat when the party opens nominations.
As we toured, you saw the enthusiasm, the happiness, and the good reception that I still have with my people. It tells me that I still have some goodwill in the constituency. So I will build on that, and definitely when the time comes, I shall not desert my people. I shall represent them again.
Staying on politics and again in the party, the New Patriotic Party, because political scientist and lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Samuel Genevi, says the former trade minister and aspiring presidential candidate for the ruling New Patriotic Party, Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen's chances of winning most votes in the Ashanti region are bright. He said even though he is enjoying massive support in the ruling party's stronghold, he needs to continue to strengthen his base. William Evans Inkum reports.
Of contesting to become the flag bearer of the ruling New Patriotic Party in 2007, in 2010, 2014, and now he's looking forward to leading the party into the 2024 general election. Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen, within the 5 days that he's been in the Ashanti region, has been engaging delegates. And the support for him has been nothing short of massive.
Kyerematen is very much someone who has leanings in Ashanti region and also central region. Largely he cuts across and he has the potential to be able to, if you like, galvanize support in these two regions.
Some of his supporters, especially the former minister for Zongo, Alhaji Boniface Abubakar, has been talking about tradition, which he says favors the former trade and industry minister.
John Ajekunkufu are products of 69 and 79. That's why we honored them. After the 69, we thought of 79, and that's how we honored Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo was a man who led the people's movement for freedom and justice. That was why it was given to Akufo-Addo. Today, we are going into the third phase, and that is the time for the products of 1992.
Alan, to be able to lead the party, he will have to beat competition from 9 other aspirants.
Those who have not come out publicly are more than those of us who have come out publicly. So clearly, let's leave them to their own conscience as to how they want to go about this. We are seeking for leadership for our party, and I'm convinced that 2024 flag bearer of MPP is Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen.
Alan wraps up his campaign tour of the Ashanti region tomorrow, Saturday. It's been a 6th day of intensive engagement with the all 47 constituencies in the Ashanti region. William Evans Inkum, TV3 News, Ebuakwa, Ashanti region.
And definitely, like we keep repeating, we at your Election Command Center will be keeping a tab on all the candidates who are traveling the country and bring you details of specifically what they've been telling their delegates. And on August the 26th, we will definitely be getting to know who the final 5 would be. Stay with us. We have more for you right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo Paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo Paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo Superior Paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
You dey sleep? That's Madina.
Sentuntum say wunna ma de jume ma won sa.
Efrema bema ganyoba.
Maunsa.
Welcome. Hey.
Sentun tumamo abuasumuja maunsa.
Thou shalt not slap. Having black mosquito quail. Common tontom. Na empum visye bebre. Na ema wo mowa. Na ema wo nsham. Na ensham.
Having insecticide spray. Eye sham. Ne sansu kumwa wotu any omo nyina. Now having naphthalene balls and having perfumed insect repellent no ekumwa warrior na senja hwawechiri.
Having black mosquito quail. Empum visye bebre. And say wo hene so. Sham kama. Kweno. Emubu. Na jumo size no. Don't shit to me no.
And a heaven spray, heaven naphthalene balls, ni perfumed insect repellent no. Ekumwa omutu na wa nam from na senja hwawechi.
Heaven dear bakope. Heaven dear bakope. Heaven dear bakope. Heaven dear bakope.
FDA aji edrede krato yatum.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN just for you. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
Choose Sukasa for the highest quality, luxurious townhouses in East Lagoon Hills. 2, 3, and 4 bedroom in a gated community starting at $40,000 in Accra, Ghana. Sukasa, building on trust.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
SoftCare. Protect your leap.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN, Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal. And Pakwisia Sar is here with all the facts and figures in the world of business. It's a Friday night.
We're taking it easy,
Yeah.
extremely cool and easy. Hi guys, how you doing, Martin?
Not bad,
Good to
thank
see
you.
you.
Yeah.
Right, hello, good evening, and welcome to the very latest in the world of business. Now, renowned economist Kwame Pienim has called on the government to acknowledge the extent of crisis the country is presently facing. Now, speaking at the prestigious 3 Business Thought Leadership Series, he said it will be prudent for the government to admit the situation and get the buy-in of Ghanaians.
According to Kwame Pienim, the current economic situation in Ghana is dire and there seems not to be any clear path on the side of government to improve the situation.
The problem, as I see it, historically, I've been seeing it before anywhere in the world.
Not seen it before. What's happening?
No, what is happening in this country and how we are going to get out of it. The business community doesn't seem to realize that, because when they were negotiating, the Association of Bankers was negotiating for the banks. Are they shareholders in the banks? A lot of our associations, AGI, all this, they don't have enough research capacity. Economists, accountants, helping them to confront government when government is making the policies. And the policies are dire.
To him, it is about time the country invests in people rather than projects to build capacity.
You invest in people, not in projects. The items that are sitting on the desk in CSIR. We made proposals once. If you're a professor, you are working for CSIR, there's something lying there. You want to take that job and commercialize it. Exim Bank, Agri Development Bank, Ghana Commercial Bank should finance you. Get 2 other people to join you. We get you out. You are creating jobs. Yes. If Ghana has supported Bryce Simmons and all the WHO medical things that we use, everybody is approved of that we are using, billions will be coming, will be more than cocoa. African countries, Ghana. If people give us money free money, it will help us develop. 50% of the money will be stolen because we are thieves. The other 50% will be wasted because we are incompetent. And until we solve these problems and start investing in people, having the right policies, we are wasting time.
In other news tonight, Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISA, Professor Peter Kwabena, has reiterated the need for the establishment of a national carrier to boost tourism in Ghana. Professor Kwabena says this would help attract more tourists to Ghana, which would in turn bring in more foreign exchange. He, however, wants the national carrier to be run as a private business rather than a government-owned entity.
Once more tourists come in, they come with revenue, they come with foreign exchange. That generates foreign income, it generates foreign exchange, so it will help stabilize our forex. They also spend. So the food vendor, those who sell artifacts, who sell, our fabrics, they also get money. So it generates job. The government can tax it and get tax revenue. There are several benefits that it brings. If you bring investors, once somebody comes around and visits and see that, look, the opportunities here, this is a friendly environment.
Before we go tonight, Ghana's housing deficit remains a major concern, with about 2 million housing units needed to fill the gap. My colleague Michael Obodu, in his special Friday feature, has been exploring the viable building technology options available if the country wants to address the challenge as quickly as possible.
Putting up huge structures like what you see behind me can take quite a while, from months to years. But what if you can do it in weeks, or probably in days?
Prefabricated homes, often referred to as prefab or modular homes, are constructed off-site in controlled environments utilizing standardized components that are later transported and assembled on site. This approach not only streamlines the construction process, but also significantly reduces costs associated with traditional on-site building. Prefabs are gaining traction for their ability to address Ghana's housing deficit head-on. But what do Ghanaians make of the concept?
To me, I don't know others, because some people may be scared. The way you are telling me some days, maybe it's just something that you just put together and make a house. But I don't mind trying it.
It will be a very nice project. Because looking at the world now, the world is growing faster. We're in a technological world. And now our population is also growing, whilst the land is not growing.
Ghanaians may be keen about the technology, but industry players believe the current business climate is not right yet.
Manufacturing of all this, putting them together, is a lot. How much is our electricity cost in the country? Water, exchange rate, interest rate, the inflation. Put all together, to be honest, you are nowhere near there. Even if you should introduce today, what will be 10,000 cedis in the European market or American market will be times 3 or times 4 because of what all these factors being slapped on it.
Perhaps this is why entities into prefabs believe tax rebates are crucial to sustaining their businesses locally.
The government can use it for its affordable housing, and this would motivate more people who could afford to build on their own. The product is imported from China, and when the government gives tax rebates, it ultimately affects the price of the products.
With the conversation around prefabricated homes gaining momentum, all eyes are on Ghana's housing sector as it embarks on a transformative journey to address one of its most pressing challenges. Hopefully soon, Ghana will receive a major boost in its housing industry. For 3 Business, my name is Michael Obudu.
Well, that's all for the very latest in the world of business. For more business news stories, do also visit our website. It's www.3news.com.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN just for you. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
Pepsodent introduces charcoal and lemon essence. A unique combination of natural essences whitens teeth naturally for you and family because every smile matters. New Pepsodent Herbal. Introducing a unique combination of herbal extracts in an antibacterial toothpaste for strong teeth and healthy gums that protects your family and you. Every smile matters.
Introducing the new Jamal washing powder with multi-enzymes that helps remove stubborn stains.
It has a nice fragrance. Not harsh on my hands. Foams easily. And removes stains well.
Oh, I still to be.
Ma, you brought 5 big sachets of new Jamal washing powder.
Yes, ma.
It really removes stains. It has a nice fragrance.
Yes, ma.
Then add 30 sacks of Jamal washing powder to your engagement list.
Hey, ma. Jamal.
Yes, ma.
New Jamal washing powder for cleaner, fresher wash. Your partner for clean clothes. This advert is FDA.
Water is life. Water gives life. Water moves through nature in a never-ending cycle. Observe the beauty of water as it flows all around us, refreshing and restoring. Gaze in wonder at the stillness and beauty of nature. There surprises the body and keeps you going strong. Water is life. Water gives life. Drink Awake Purified Drinking Water, one for life. So relax and unwind, and in the calmness of nature, find the rest you desire. For every bottle of Awake you buy, an amount to be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA.
Oh, that's wonderful! And that is what champions do!
It feels good to football with GoTV.
Works the space well and scores a brilliant.
Nobody but GoTV gives you all games of La Liga and Serie A, the Premier League and UEFA games that matter, and the world's favorite cup competitions. Get GoTV Super for only 249 cedis to enjoy the football overload. GoTV. Love.
Every child is so unique.
You like no other.
Outstanding in every way.
It's me like no other.
So anytime you walk and play.
You like no other.
You are special like Indomie.
It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other? As their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook, I can paint. You like no other. Indomie, you like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, Remember, you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie. Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This advert is FDA approved.
Sports segment is brought to you by Bell Pack Tissues.
Welcome back to News 360. Time now for sports and the Alpha Sulabis. I mean, like, I've been excited the whole day because the English Premier League is back.
Yeah, most definitely. And Erling Haaland has already scored 2 goals. I mean, the game actually just started at 7 p.m. and he scored 2 goals already. So it just shows that he's ready to keep firing on all cylinders again. But tomorrow, the early kickoff game, Arsenal-Nottingham Forest. Yeah.
All right, give us details about us.
Well, let's head into our stories this evening here on News 360. My name is Yao Fusulabi, and as I mentioned earlier, Erling Brot Haaland has scored 2 goals for Manchester City in this evening's fixture against Burnley, and that game is being played at the Turf Moor Stadium. And move on to some more stories, because with about 6 weeks to the elective Congress of the Ghana Football Association, Gifty Owari-Mensah has revealed her commitment to contributing to the development of Ghana football by elevating women's football to new heights and championing the goals of women in football. Now there is more in the following report.
Chief Executive Officer for Bury Ladies Football Club and brand specialist Gifty Owari-Mensah has joined the race for the Ghana Football Executive Council. Owari-Mensah has submitted her nomination forms to be elected on the ticket of Women's Representative. As former Deputy CEO of Brecum Chelsea, she believes her expertise will earn her a place on the council to help reshape and achieve greater success in football.
It's a day for us to say we know our story, we'll tell our stories to ourselves, and I believe that the 20 clubs will be numerous enough on the day 27th September 2023, wherever the Congress will be held, and make sure that they would give me, Gifty Owari-Mensah, the slots to represent them on the council. And I promise you, we'll come here again after a year to analyze whether or not what we promised in this booklet had been achieved. I know they're achievable, but what is beautiful about it is that when it's time for me to put on my jeans and my boots, I am always there, and I will support every nook and cranny, anybody here who needs the support to do this, and get more women who can invest in this game we all love.
The Ghana Football Association's elective Congress is scheduled for September 27, 2023 at the Redash Memorial Hotel in Tamale.
That report was fired by my colleague Kelvin Oswans. And our Ghana Football Association President Keto Kreku was at the GFA Secretariat to officially file his nomination forms, marking his intent to seek re-election for a second term. His main contender, former Vice President of the GFA, George Efrie, also very convinced of a win as the elections begin.
For the first time in the history of our country, a Haas and Kotoko was open free gate, yet still it was empty. You've been made to believe that COVID strike. Now football politicians has turned into political party politicians. If you are a football person, you and I will agree that your budget for the year for a Premier Division, for a Division 1, is a minimum of $100,000 US. And if COVID strike, apart from your salaries to your staffs and players, what else do you spend on? There's no football. Sponsorship is not enough to run football in this country. And so don't let anybody deceive you that COVID strike. I'm hoping that the next argument will be that Ukraine has also affected football. The FA president and the executive council has asked us to pay 50,000. If my brother Keto Kreku wants to contest for FIFA position, the president of CAF position, the executive council, ask him whether he's going to pay money. Because in FIFA and CAF, there is money for governance. You don't need to pay a filing fees. But here in our situation, the FA found it prudent that no, we need organizational costs, so pay 50,000. This explains that there are things you can do in your jurisdiction that does not require the approval of FIFA.
Ghana football has suffered. Ghana football has struggled. Ghana football is most importantly in safe hands. The safe hand is the one addressing all of you. People believe in the leadership. That's the reason why they are here. They trust the leadership. That's why they are here. Most importantly, they trust in the vision of the leader. Our collective future is very bright. We have to be patient. We have to come together as a family, because that's the essence of being part of this association. My hands are open. I said this at Congress. I welcome the other mind at all times. We are firmly committed towards developing the Ghanaian game.
Well, you heard that from GFA President Keto Kriku and former Vice President of the FA, George Afriyie, and both of them have filed their nomination forms ahead of the GFA elections, which begin on September 27. My name is Yao Ofusulabi, and that's all the sports news this evening here on News 360.
Many people think I get whatever I want because I'm a popular actress. But no, that is not true. Me ankasano, adebia mi yebiano, me shishimpe papano. And when I find it, I stick to it. My shishimenya Bell Pack tissues. Bell Pack ewe tea roll. Bell Pack tea roll. Soft, but not weak. Strong, but not hard. It is smooth. Me yusua, me hot tummy. It's just perfect. Same as the kitchen towel. What about what? What me the papaye? What me soaky? Echimu esa pepper. One Bell Pack kitchen towel lasts longer and saves you money. It's time you switch to Bell Pack today. Say your pocket tissue, table napkin, tea roll, and a kitchen towel. Bell Pack is simply the best. It's just perfect.
Nothing feels so good like Bell Pack. All starts with a dream. A quest to create life through fabric, with a process that gives meaning to every inspiration. It all starts with passion, an innate desire to capture tradition into design, a symbol of indigenous creativity, perfectly made to define the soul-giving radiant colors and a bold look. The essence of state-of-the-art mastery, indulging every fiber of its being, birthing timeless styles, imprinted in our hearts and in our lives, so you can also dream to be. Life style.
Mami Musa was same yansa. Mo networks are mo use no. Embrahin and I'm recharge ya. Mo nyamfa so everyone so. Ah, mabwa, kapre. Wait. And that's what you want. Muntian Kaibo di through. Vodafone say every Saturday kwe a brevia over recharge from 5 cities El Cobiano. Assigned with seeking up to 20% amount back cash. I will Vodafone cash so. It shock you? What did you hear say? Over recharge. Say my Vodafone app. Vodafone cash. Credit transfer. Short code. Emubia. Uradia.
Top up your airtime with 5 Ghana cedi or more in Vodafone's double promotion and receive up to 20% of your money back straight into your Vodafone cash wallet. Recharge and cash out in the Vodafone double promotion.
Vodafone, further together.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water, GTP, Lifestyled, Vodafone, Further Together, and powered by 3 Entertainment.
And Anita is already standing by to give us the latest in the world of entertainment news, and it's still about music.
Yeah.
A
lot has been happening in their camp. We've had Daddy Bosco and Ochiame Kwame share their thoughts as well. So let's get right into it. My name is Anita Ekia Ekufu, and Head of Communications and Special Event at Musica. Daddy Bosco says it is important for musicians to unite and work for the improvement of the union. And speaking on TV3 New Day, he said that electing substantive leaders will help solve Musica's problems.
Just last year, we did two capacity building programs with support from South Africa, Music in Africa Live. I'm just saying this to show that the union is moving in a certain light. And it's important everybody comes on board. We go have the elections. The members decide who will be their leaders. We have substantive leaders so that the union moves. For some of us, it's pretty unfortunate. And I think this will be the last time we'll be in court, God willing, and we will.
I hope so. But you talk about all the things that Musica is doing, and you listen to musicians, and they constantly complain that they don't think that Musica is actually doing what it has to do to seek the welfare of musicians. I've heard Ohima Messi even say that even if you bring Jesus Christ to lead Musica, the issues will never stop. There's an inherent problem, which is why even for elections, we've not been able to conduct that.
Okay,
up until this point.
What I'll say is that there's unity in strength. And it's important that musicians work with their union to improve it. No human institution is perfect. It takes people to build. And one of the things that pains me is that people who should be interested in developing the union show a certain degree of apathy. And that's one of the challenges that we're hoping will be cured.
Still on the musical-related issues, Ochiame Kwame, who served as an executive member, also believes the artists must continue to demand the right things are done.
Musica or Gamro or any union will stand. The artists ourselves must first find a way to do business properly. We must find a way to begin to establish the unity that we want Musica to create. We must find a way to push the professionalism that we want in our industries. So yes, Musica is not doing well.
And still in entertainment, Best Female Vocalist of the Year at the 2021 Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, Kwabena has teamed up with Famia on her latest song, Far Away. And for those of you who believe in the beautiful concept of love, Far Away is a creative tune and inspiration for couples. On the song, the two lovebirds express their unconditional love and how they will always be there for each other. Kwabena soulful voice and Famia's smooth rap verses blend perfectly and quite soothing for listeners. The song also comes with a beautiful video telling the love story, so here are some messages. Very beautiful one there coming from Kwabena and Famia. You should check that out. My name is Anita Ekia Ekufu. It's a wrap on the entertainment news segment. Have a beautiful weekend.
West African army chiefs will meet on Saturday in the Ghanaian capital Accra to discuss the military coup in Niger. Some reports suggest they will prepare plans for a military intervention. It comes after the regional bloc ECOWAS ordered the activation of a standby force during a meeting in Nigeria on Thursday. The European Union has said Niger's ousted president is being held in deteriorating conditions under house arrest and has called for his immediate release. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said President Mohamed Bazoum and his family had been deprived of food, electricity, and medical care for several days. Ukrainian conscription officials accused of taking bribes and smuggling people out of the country have been sacked in an anti-corruption purge. Vladimir Zelensky confirmed more than 30 people face criminal charges, with all regional officials in charge of military conscriptions removed. He said bribery at a time of war is high treason. It comes amid efforts to bolster the armed forces as Ukraine's counter-offensive operation continues. A statement from the president's office said corruption allegations pose a threat to Ukraine's national security and undermine confidence in state institutions.
And just before we go, a quick reminder that remember to brush your teeth before you go to bed this evening and tomorrow morning when you wake up with either the Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, the Pepsodent Charcoal, Pepsodent Herbal, or Pepsodent Triple Protection, because with Pepsodent,
every smile matters.
every smile matters. And that's it for the bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Martin Esiedu Datin.
I am Portia Gabo. Have a lovely weekend.